You just built your best house yet. Everything looks perfect, but then you go inside. We've all been there. Building houses with no interiors, random blocks everywhere, just a complete mess. So let's fix that, starting with the kitchen. I have 40 build tips right behind me for how to make the perfect kitchen in Minecraft, so let's get started with the first tip. All right, first up, the absolute fundamental for building a kitchen is just deciding where your counters are gonna go. I usually go with one of two different counter designs, either stairs if I want a bit of like an under area for like legs, or just a full block, which is kind of the go-to. Next up at number 2, very important, is to make cabinets. So a lot of the times you can do this with just trap doors, because of course that gets the effect across of being able to open and close it. Or if you're feeling fancy, you can use banners with item frames with trap doors inside of them. You can of course rotate them, decide where it opens, and it just looks really good. It looks like handles that you could open, of course. Next up at number 3, just as kind of an accent, is that you could put different carpet on top of your counters to kind of make these countertops. Of course, a lot of the times in a house, the top of the counter is not the same color as the sides. So these are kind of like stone maybe, or like marble, I don't know. Looks pretty good in my opinion. And of course, you can combine them with the banners. Also, real quick, just showing off here is kind of a, side trick. You can do different banner designs to kind of have it emulate more of an actual cabinet. So here we just have a banner like this, and of course, you can only see the top half of it. And yeah, that could lead to kind of some interesting looks. Next up at number 4, we have cabinets, but up. So these are just like lining the ceiling basically, for extra storage, just kind of how kitchens are in real life. So it makes sense to build in Minecraft. Number 5, we have the classic, we have the fridge. Now right here, we of course just have a box of iron and an iron door. Not reinventing the wheel here, just kind of a classic, necessary addition to any kitchen. At number 6, we have the double fridge. Real crazy concept, I know. You could fit stuff on top of it. Just kind of a double fridge. Maybe one side's a fridge, one side's a freezer. The classic. Next up at number 7, we have the even bigger fridge. I actually kind of really like this one. We of course have like a handle to open it, and this is kind of like maybe a screen or like just something, because they have windows and stuff now for some reason. But yeah, it just kind of looks nice depending on how fancy the kitchen is that you're building. Could probably look pretty good in any build. Next up at number 8, we of course have the sink, just a cauldron with water in it. You could of course adjust the water level to go to any height you want. Also, kind of a side tip, I really like the way shelves look on this fridge design, so I'm gonna show a few different fridges throughout this video, but yeah, that's what it looks like right now. And of course at number 9, using a lever, you kind of make this look like a faucet for the sink, which it looks good. It's kind of a classic, adds just a bit to the build. Kind of a necessary detail, honestly. Next up at number 10, we have a tripwire as a faucet instead. We also have a double sink design here. I've seen some people do this. The only benefit I personally can think of is kind of that it just doesn't have these particle effects, which you might notice with a lever. They don't really bother me with the lever, but if you don't like it, I definitely get why you would use a tripwire hook instead. Oh my god, secret tip number 10.5 is to join the Discord. We have a really cool Discord down below with a bunch of build tips and tricks, all that stuff in it. People send their builds for feedback, all that stuff. Join, Next up, build tip number 11, we have the dishwasher. It's a very simple design. We just basically have a banner. I'm sure you can copy that pretty easily. It's just like the outline and the middle line. And on the inside, we have an item frame with a trapdoor in it, just kind of act like a handle. I think it comes out pretty good. You can, of course, put the countertop block over it, or you don't have to. But yeah, I think it looks pretty good. Next up, number 12, we have the oven. Very simple. This one is just the smoker, and just that alone will be enough to kind of get it across. You have an oven in your kitchen. But of course, we have a couple more tips to make the oven look way better. So first, we have a detector rail, I believe this is, yeah, right on top of it. And that could kind of look like a stovetop. And then if you use the debug stick, you can even power it on. And then also underneath, we have a campfire, which allows smoke to come through. And we also have this powered using a debug stick. If you're in survival, unfortunately, there's really not much you can do for this part, but you can still get this going through and it looks like smoke and it still looks like it's powered on. Next up for number 15 and 16, we have a double oven, which is just, putting two of them next to each other. I think it looks pretty good in my opinion. And then we also have the modern oven design, which is kind of similar to the dishwasher, but just slightly different. We use quartz here. We have a white trapdoor here instead. And we also have a bit of a gradient here, kind of just to make it look almost like a reflection, I guess. I don't know. I think it looks pretty good. I think with the smoke coming out and the rail here, you could tell them apart from this. But yeah, I think it looks pretty good. I like the modern design a lot. Number 17, we have a smoke extractor, pretty much. This one I just have stairs, and then I have trapdoors here, which I think looks pretty good. I think it gets it across. But there's also another design here, number 18. This is kind of a different one, using trapdoors and hoppers. I feel like this one kind of maybe gets across more that it's like supposed to be like removing the smoke from the space, because this is of course the funnel shape, which kind of does that. At number 19, we have my finest creation, the microwave. It's as good as I can get in Minecraft, all right? We're not really doing anything crazy here, but it looks fine in my opinion. We of course have the window, and then we have like the control panel. Maybe there's a better way to do this. I don't know. It's the best one I had. At number 20, just really simple. We have a pantry. It's not really too big of a build tip itself, but I feel like it's kind of forgettable when you're building something. So I think it's kind of important to have a place to store stuff. Just kind of think about how the space would actually be used when it's like used by real people, I guess, and you'll think of stuff to put. Next up at build tip number 21, this is where it starts really coming alive here in my opinion. So we have the kitchen island. This is of course like the biggest scale one I really could do. You could do it as small as this. You could of course use any other block palette. My only advice is that this side block should not be the same color as the floor, or it'll blend. But other than that, I think most block palettes look pretty good. I like birch and spruce looks pretty good for these. But yeah, we got a nice kitchen island here. Of course, at number 22, we have just using pots as cups, or like, I guess mugs, kind of more like, 'cause they're kind of like thicker and like wider and less tall. But I think they look pretty good. Just kind of make it look lived in, more detail on the countertops, of course. And then number 23, going on with the cups, we have plates. I usually use the weighted pressure plates. I just think they look the most like a plate, I guess. And following that up at number 24, we have item frames inside of the plates. Now, there used to be a lot of issues with this, but they might have fixed it. I'm not really sure. You basically just place an item frame, you put an item in it, and you put a pressure plate over it. And yeah, you got the item there, and it doesn't show the item frame unless you step on it. Then it'll kind of ruin it. And these will open, of course. But if you just don't touch them, they look pretty good. Number 25 and 26, these are kind of weird. We got a cake, which isn't actually weird. But then we have turtle eggs. I mean, they're eggs, so they could go on a countertop, of course. Maybe you're cooking them up. You know, of course, you got the meat here. Maybe you're making, I don't know, some food. I can't really cook. Speaking of cooking, at number 27 and 28, we have salt and pepper shakers, which is white and black candles. Very simple, but I think they get the effect across, especially in a kitchen setting and with other stuff. And of course, we have this as a spice rack. It's basically just a shelf. Personally, I'm using candles in here, but you could also use like other stuff as well. Something like honey kind of fits in there. I mean, it's not really a spice, but it's like a bottle of something, you know what I mean? So yeah, it just kind of looks pretty good in my opinion. Adds a bit of color to the space as well, which is pretty important, especially with this block palette I got going on here, which is admittedly very white and gray, but yeah. Cool detail in my opinion. Next up, built at number 29, we have scaffolding for tables. There's a lot of pros and cons to these. They're very versatile. You can of course do 1x1, or you can do 1x2, 2x2. You can make them as long as you want. They look pretty good. You can of course like stand in them and actually like, I don't know, you know, sit at them. But you can't put item frames on them and you can't put cakes on them. So those are two kind of negatives you got to keep in mind. But I still think they look pretty good. And then at built at number 30, we have paintings on the walls, just to kind of add a bit of color around, mix it up a bit, make it look a bit more alive and a bit more real. But yeah, I think paintings just make the whole space look more alive. For build tip 31, we just have a better table. I personally like doing tables with trapdoors and slabs and sometimes stairs if they're long enough. This just lets you actually put cakes and item frames on it, which combined with the other build tips, like the plates here, it just makes it look a lot better and a lot more like good. I get it looks better, okay? Also, you could use different colors because scaffolding, of course, is only yellow for bamboo. So yeah, this just looks way better in my opinion. Next up, build tip 32 is just kind of a bar in the kitchen. I don't know how common or uncommon this is, but I don't know. I like the way it looks for like seating. Basically all I did was I put this spruce wood here, just kind of as like a divider, just a bit of a different color in there to kind of mix it up a bit. And then I just have upside down stairs here. So you can like fit your feet under there. Then seats, pretty simple, nothing too crazy, but it just kind of adds a lot. It's a bit of variation in there because I don't usually see this in a Minecraft house. Next up, build tip number 33, we have these cups using sea pickles. Personally, I don't usually use this build tip, but pretty much every time I use flower pots as cups, I get comments telling me to use pickles instead. So maybe the right answer is a bit of a mix. They do add a nice bit of color to the space, but it's nothing too crazy. I think I prefer these still. And then build tip 34 is just using a brewing stand. Basically, it's like a coffee pot. I've kind of seen this done a lot. I guess brewing stand, you know, brew coffee. It's kind of, I don't know, you brew something. I guess. It doesn't really look like a coffee pot, but like in a Minecraft sense, I feel like you think of it like that. Maybe put it with a flower pot, and it's pretty obvious what it's meant to be, in my opinion. Next up for build tips 35 and 36, we just have two more drink dispensers here. So we have the classic like water dispenser with like the bottle that, you know what I'm talking about? Like the, kind of like the office building one, but you know, in a kitchen. And of course, we also have like a keg here, so you can, you know, get certain drinks dispensed that might get me demonetized. I don't think they would, but you know what I mean. And you know, just some cups around, just kind of sell it a bit more and just kind of make it all fit in. And then for build tip 37, this is just very simple. You just have this shelf here and just shelves in general, kind of just put them around, mix the space up a bit more. All I have right here are trapdoors, but if you're trying to do something a bit more like substantial, you can of course do something like this, kind of like have it like connect to like a wall here or something, you know what I mean? Just with a bit of a thicker part, mix it up a bit. But yeah, I just have trapdoors here. You can also hang lights off them, so it's kind of got two positives to it. I got candles up here and all that. Maybe this is where I store cups also for the drinks. But yeah, pretty solid build tip. And finally, we got our final three build tips, just kind of help wrap it all up here. So we have this kind of closed in, finalized kitchen scene, which I really like. I think looks really good. First up, we have plants around just for a bit more color, just kind of add a bit more stuff to mix it up, but break up kind of the white and brown sort of color scheme we got going on here. We of course have some more lighting fixtures. I really do like these like end rod sort of things. They kind of, usually when I build them, I think of them as in like a store. But for this one specifically, I think it fits kind of over the bar here. And of course, finally, we have this floor, which I really like. Maybe you don't, it might not fit with whatever palette you build with. But I think it looks pretty good. It doesn't really help the white and gray problem I was having, but it's kind of the classic like Five Nights at Freddy's looking floor, you know what I mean? But yeah, that could really help just kind of mix the space up and kind of separate the kitchen itself from the rest of the build, especially if you have like a very open kind of floor plan. But yeah, it's gonna do it. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, maybe consider subscribing. It would really mean a lot. I really appreciate it. Of course, you know, join the Discord, maybe join the Patreon too. I'll probably post a download for this on there. So if you want all these build tips as a schematic or just as a world download, let me know. But yeah, thanks for watching, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. And of course, thank you to my patrons, Aelic, ThaMango, Luke 007, Tommi, Natural High, and of course, Sai. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one.